Part 37. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 362. Oh my god. The masters of Yunti and Daozong couldn't beat that man. Not good. Something big is going to happen. Who is that person? How could it be so powerful? If Yunti and Daozong is finished, what should we do? Still thinking about this now? Get out of here quickly. This place might turn into a battlefield later. It's not safe. Go, leave quickly. Yunti and Daozong, the boys and girls in front of the mountain gate were also panicking and running into the distance one by one. Seeing that even the masters of Yunti and Daozong were unable to defeat this man flying in the sky, they also knew that they would wait. It's not safe here, with their little strength. If they continue to stay here, they are simply seeking death. Therefore, each one of them is also escaping quickly. On the other side, Yagami Ryusuke's eyes are looking at Yunti and Daozong at this time deep. There, terrifying auras burst out from the towering peaks, followed by 6 figures coming through the sky. Coming. Ryusuke Yagami's eyes lit up. Almost in the next second, the 6 figures had already appeared in front of him. I wonder what grudges this friend has against my Yunti and Dao sect. A burly man asked. 407 looked at him carefully, as if he wanted to see through Yagami Ryusuke. However, no matter how he looked at it, the man in front of him was just a junior in the Genkai realm. But the other party could fly in the sky, and Ling Yongxiao could captured by others. He is obviously a master with the strength of the Domain Lord realm. The so-called cultivation of the true Qi realm is probably just a disguise. It's just that. Is this disguise a little too much? Moreover, you have already exposed your strength. Why do you continue to pretend to be a junior in the true Qi realm? Do you really think we are blind? Fool. I heard that your Yunti and Dao sect is the largest sect in Yunzhou. I am not very talented, so I came here to ask for advice. Ryuja Yagami said loudly. Hearing this, the expressions of the 6 territory lord realm experts from the Yunti and Dao sect opposite also changed slightly. Are they from outside Yunzhou? The 6 people said that it was true. After all, the territory lord realm in Yunzhou, there is no strong person they don't know. But they have never seen the person in front of them, and they have even heard of it. But if he comes from outside Yunzhou, then everything will make sense. My friend, if you just want to discuss with us and ask for advice, why not let the people from my sect go first? The burly man said. He was not sure about Yagami Ryusuke's background. But since the other party is from outside Yunzhou, there is a high probability that he is a big shot in the Yunti and Dao sect that they cannot afford to offend. After all, there are 36 states in the time and space continent. They are the weakest in Yunzhou. People from other states have never bothered to come to their Yunzhou. Only their warriors in Yunzhou often leave Yunzhou for a better future and go to other states with better resources to work hard. Facts go up, if the sect did not need them, the 6 of them would have left Yunzhou long ago. Therefore, after learning that Yagami Ryusuke was from outside Yunzhou, the attitudes of the 6 of them softened slightly. No, I am willing to offend this master with a mysterious background. Release him. Ryusuke Yagami shook his head. No, if you can defeat me, then letting him go will not be a problem. But if you can't defeat me, then you have to hand over your treasures as the price of failure. The same goes for the 6 people before, but they obviously haven't thought clearly yet. Ryusuke Yagami said calmly. Hearing this, the face of the 6 powerful domain lord realm opposite also turned gloomy. It seems that you are determined to have trouble with my Yunti and Dao sect. The burly man said with a serious face. After all, their Yunti and Dao sect is also the overlord of Yunzhou. Looking at the entire Yunzhou, who dares not to give them the face of the Yunti and Dao sect? In the past, when other people met them, they were polite and even respectful. When have they been so despised? Even if you are from outside Yunzo, you can't be so arrogant, right? Stop talking nonsense and get started. Ryosuke Yagamai was too lazy to talk nonsense with them. He rushed forward in an instant. The reincarnation eyes opened in his eyes. Several golden seeking jade containing the power of the law were spinning in his hands, turning into golden streams of light. To the opposite side. How can I, Yuntian Daozong, be afraid of you? When the 6 domain Lord Realm experts on the opposite side saw it, they also shouted angrily and took action. In an instant, a battle broke out between 7 people in the sky. A casual attack was enough to destroy the world. 2 or 3 people were already running out in the distance. The boys and girls 10 miles away looked back and saw a golden stream of light falling to the ground, and then a bright light bloomed, swallowing up an area of 40 or 50 kilometers away in an instant. No. These people, his face suddenly changed, and he subconsciously circulated the true energy in his body to the extreme to protect his whole body. The next second, a terrifying energy shockwave spread. Billions of tons of earth and rocks were thrown into the sky, like a heavy rain it poured down. The boys and girls who had run 20 or 30 miles away were thrown up one by one. They screamed and were hit by countless rocks and stones. Their arms were broken, and their legs were broken. Fortunately, only their whole bodies were broken. My blood was boiling and I was slightly injured. After I got up, I continued to fly towards the distance. I wish my parents would give me 2 more legs. Destroy the world. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. The burly man shouted loudly, and raised the long stick in his hand high. In an instant, rays of light gathered on the stick and then it was smashed down hard. Boom! Yagamai Ryosuke raised his hand and put a layer of golden jade cloth in front of him to resist. As a result, the golden defensive barrier was instantly smashed to pieces by the burly man's stick, and the stick continued to fall, as if a world was being crushed. Yagamai Ryosuke brought a lot of pressure. See you in the underworld. On the other side, a ghostly figure flashed like a ghost. The dagger in his hand turned into a ray of light. It avoided Yagamai Ryosuke's defense like a butterfly through a flower, and stabbed him in the back with ease. Hard. Kang. A flash of light erupted from the tip of the dagger, but its owner's face suddenly changed, and he looked at Ryosuke Yagamai, who was unharmed, in surprise. How can it be? Boom. There was a loud noise, the stick hit Yagamai Ryosuke's hand hard. The terrifying power exploded, but it failed to shake Yagamai Ryosuke at all. Then, 4 other attacks also fell. Yagamai Ryosuke casually resistance, 3 of them were blocked by him, and another one broke through his defense and hit him hard, but it was also unable to hurt him at all. Good. Your strength is really good. Ryosuke Yagamai laughed. He didn't care at all about the opponent's attack hitting him. His immortal body. Even if his body is only at the 5th level, with a huge difference, the attack on Ryosuke Yagamai can still be weakened to only 1 part in a million. A mere 1/1,000,000th damage would naturally not have any effect on Ryosuke Yagamai. Therefore, it is impossible for these Domain Lord Realm experts from the Yuntian Dao sect on the opposite side to harm Yagamai Ryosuke from the beginning. After all, he himself is also at the peak of the 6th level. It's not like he's really a little bitch. However, these Domain Lord Realm experts from Yuntian Dao sect are really strong. There are 6 people, 3 of whom are similar in strength to Ryosuke Yagamai. Even the strength of that burly man is higher than Ryosuke Yagamai. It's a pity that his immortal body is too powerful. The remaining 1 in a million attacks really can't do anything to him. This little damage is not enough to break his skin. Not to mention getting him hurt. Yinlun's life explodes. Ryosuke Yagamai raised his hand, and a terrifying hurricane swept through the surroundings in an instant. The 6 domain masters of Yuntian Dao sect were instantly stung by the hurricane's scratches on their skin, and wounds appeared on the surface. Golden Will reincarnation explodes. Ryosuke Yagamai raised his right hand high. I don't know what kind of law power the golden lightsaber contained. The golden sword struck down, and a Domain Lord Realm strongman from the Yuntian Dao sect on the opposite side only had time to scream. It was the body that was blasted into powder and disappeared. Damn it! How dare you? Shui Yun. Damn bastard! Go to hell! The remaining 5 people were furious instantly. However, their attacks hit Ryosuke Yagamai, and they could only push him back. Even if they tried their best, there was no other use. On the other hand, Ryosuke Yagamai introducing, golden swords struck down one after another. In the blink of an eye, there were only 3 domain masters of the Yuntian Dao sect opposite him whose strength was almost the same as his, and the other 3 were all killed by his golden will reincarnation explosion, seeing that he could not attack for a long time. His attacks could not even hurt the opponent. 2.7 The strongest and burly man gritted his teeth viciously, and then shouted loudly, "Withdraw." When the other 2 Domain Lord Realm experts heard this, no matter how unwilling they were, they could only retreat bitterly at this time. They retreated to the sect protecting formation of Yuntian Dao sect. They were protected by the sect protecting formation, forgive the other party for not being able to do anything to them. Just ran away. Ryosuke Yagamai looked at the 3 people who fled back to the sect and couldn't help but shook his head in disappointment. He was in the mood for fighting. As a result, the 3 guys on the opposite side turned out to be so useless. So they ran away? Come out and fight again. Ryosuke Yagamai stood outside the Yuntian Dao sect protecting formation and shouted loudly. But the 3 Domain Lord Realm powerhouses in the sect protecting formation had dark faces and said nothing. They had no intention of going out to follow them again. Yagamai Ryosuke continued to fight. They were not stupid, their attacks were barely even tickling the opponent. If they continued to fight, they were afraid that, like the other 3, they would eventually die at the hands of Yagamai Ryosuke. Up. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 363. Brush. Brush. A dozen figures appeared in succession at the edge of the sect protecting formation. Third child, what happened? Everyone who came here exudes a terrifying aura. Obviously these 10 people are all strong men in the Domain Master realm. In addition to the previous 6, that is to say, Yuntian Dao sect has a total of 16 Domain Masters. A strong man in the main realm. It's no wonder. Yuntian Dao sect is the overlord of Yunzo. Other sects simply don't dare to go against it. Is such that the 3rd Supreme Elder, the burly man, briefly described the situation here to the 10 Supreme Elders who followed. In Yuntian Dao sect, as long as your cultivation level breaks through the Domain Master realm, you can become the Supreme Elder of the sect. Then, regardless of your previous seniority, once you become the Supreme Elder, you will automatically become the highest ranking being in the sect, and you will be called brothers with other Supreme Elders. There were 16 Supreme Elders with Domain Lord Realm cultivation before Yuntian Dao sect, starting from the oldest to the last. The burly man is the 3rd Supreme Elder of Yuntian sect, ranking 3rd. Therefore, other Supreme Elders generally call him Lao-san, 3rd brother or 3rd brother, and so on. At this time, through the description of the 3 Supreme Elders, the next 10 Supreme Elders also understood the current situation, and couldn't help but look at the figure outside the sect protecting formation with solemn expressions. Boom! A beam of golden light reaching the sky struck the sect protecting formation. The entire sect protecting formation suddenly trembled crazily, and the golden runes burst out with an unprecedented dazzling light. This person's strength should be at the peak of the Domain Lord realm, but his defense is extremely terrifying. Even my 0-4 attack can't hurt him at all. 3rd Elder Taizhang said with a solemn expression. He is worthy of being a strong man from outside Yunzhou, but you don't know that this person is from Yuanzhou. Or from Zhongzhou. Several elders sighed with emotion. At the same time, they also sighed quietly. Being born in Yunzhou is both lucky and unfortunate for them. Lucky because Yunzhou is one of the 36 states. The weakest state has relatively the least competitive pressure, and there are no powerful monster groups in Yunzhou. Its strength is far less powerful than their human race. Therefore, in Yunzhou, the human race is the overlord. But in Yuanzhou, in places like Zhongzhou, the strength of the demonic beast tribe even suppresses their human race. Although there are better resources in those places, they are also more dangerous. If you are not careful, you may be catastrophic. Even if you are like Yuntian Dao sect, the sects of Yunzhou are placed in places like Yuanzhou and Zhongzhou. They are just ordinary small forces. They cannot be called overlord-level forces at all. This shows how big the gap is between Yunzhou and other states. This is why they an unfortunate place. In Yunzhou, their potential has reached the Domain Lord realm, which is almost the limit. The Domain Lord realm has a lifespan of 100,000 years. And the oldest among them is even more than 80,000 years old. At this age, in the future it is already impossible to make any progress. Unless there is some adventure. But, what adventure can be found in a small place like Yunzhou? Even the barren state next door is also ranked at the bottom of the 36 states. But in terms of strength, it is much stronger than Yunzhou. At least, there is more than one realm lord realm strongman in Huangzhou. Yuntian Daozong, the overlord of Yunzhou, can only be ranked among the top 50 in Huangzhou, that's it. Therefore, most of the younger territory lords will choose to leave Yunzhou. Whether it is to go to the barren state next door or to the Mingzhou further away. It is much better than staying in Yunzhou. In those places, only then will they have better development. If they continue to stay in Yunzhou, their lifetime achievements will be like that. I have always heard that in Yuanzhou and Zhongzhou, there are ancient inheritances left by ancient beings, and there are some special secrets in them that can allow warriors to have combat power far beyond their own realm. The great elder Taizhang has lived for more than 80,000 years, which is more than 30,000 years older than the second elder Taizhang. He is also the most knowledgeable existence in the entire Yuntian Dao section. It is said that he went to I have been to Huangzhou and Mingzhou. I have seen the legendary Boundary Mountain. I even climbed Boundary Mountain, but I gave up later for unknown reasons. Boundary Mountain is a majestic mountain range that separates the 36 states in the time and space continent. The entire mountain range runs through the entire time and space continent and divides the time and space continent into 12 regions. Among them, there are a total of 8 areas where humans exist. Yunzhou, Huangzhou, and Mingzhou are all in the same area, separated from other areas by the Boundary Mountain. If you want to reach other areas, you have to climb over the Boundary Mountain. But there are various natural dangers on Boundary Mountain. There are valleys with terrifying illusions, swamps that swallow flesh and blood, or stone forests with terrifying pressure, etc. The existence of these natural dangers makes it impossible for ordinary warriors to climb the Boundary Mountain. Only when your cultivation reaches the world level can you have a certain ability to save your life. But generally speaking, those who are not as good as the territory lord will not attempt to cross the Boundary Mountain. Because that is no different than seeking death. Back then, to read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. The Supreme Elder of Yuntian Dao sect left Yunzhou when his cultivation level broke through to the territory lord. He spent more than 3,000 years in Huangzhou, Hades, and other places to travel. Finally reached the foot of Boundary Mountain. It took more than 700 years to climb. In the end, he gave up midway and returned to Yunzhou. Never left again. The great elder Taizhang has never told anyone why he gave up climbing the Boundary Mountain. Only those closest to him knew that there were 3 shocking wounds on the Taizhang elder's back that had not healed for tens of thousands of years. Maybe this is why he gave up climbing the Boundary Mountain. Brother, is there really such a secret method in this world? The second elder Taizhang asked in surprise. In the past, he always thought this was a legend. After all, unless their warriors have unique advantages in understanding the law, otherwise, it would be too difficult to defeat the enemy by leapfrogging. However, if that kind of secret method really exists, I'm afraid it will be extremely simple to defeat the enemy by leapfrogging, right? There is indeed such a secret method, but such a secret method, even in places like Yuanzhou and Zhongzhou, can only be possessed by the top superpowers. Ordinary forces simply cannot possess such a heaven-defying secret. The Taizhang elder said solemnly, if what the third child just said is true, then this person outside is probably a descendant of a certain superpower. Certainly. Or maybe he's just a lucky guy. What should I do? Second elder Taizhang said anxiously, why would such a big shot come to a small place like our Yunzhou? The second elder Taizhang was obviously a little panicked. How could the Yuntian Dao sect survive after offending such a big shot? As for that, the second elder Taizhang said before that the other party might be a lucky boy. The second elder Taizhang didn't bother at all on this point. Think about it. How can there be so many lucky guys in the world? Moreover, even the Supreme Elder himself said that such a secret method that defies the heavens, even in places like Yuanzhou and Zhongzhou, can only be mastered by the top superpowers. I deserve it. How lucky do you have to be to get such an adventure? So, instead of choosing to believe that the other person is a lucky boy, it is better to believe that the other person is a very bored person who wants to travel around the 36 states of the time and space continent, from a certain a successor disciple of a superpower. This credibility is even higher. Don't panic. The Taizhang elder said, we are still not sure whether the other party is 663 or not, and I will ask him first. Hearing this, the other supreme elders also nodded. Yes, we should ask carefully. Then, the supreme elder came outside the sect protecting formation. He was already the territory lord 60,000 years ago. Realm cultivation level. 60,000 years have passed, and although he has still not broken through to the domain lord realm, his own strength is enough to rank at the top level in the domain lord realm. Even the descendants of those superpowers, at the same level, would still be able to defeat him. It's not easy. What's more, the third elder Taizhang also said before that the opponent is mainly defensively invincible. In terms of attack methods, it can only be said to be ordinary. Therefore, the Taizhang elder is not afraid of the opponent. Sir, how about a few words? The great elder shouted. Brush. Yagamai Ryasuk's figure instantly flew not far in front of him. What do you want to talk about? Ryasuk Yagamai looked at the old man in front of him and asked. Seeing that the other man did not attack directly as soon as he came up, but was willing to chat with him, the Taizhang elder secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that this man is not completely unreasonable. The kind that makes sense. What is the purpose of your visit to Yuntian Dao sect? The Supreme Elder asked straight to the point. I heard that your Yuntian Dao sect is the overlord of Yunzhou. Firstly, I came here to see the strength of your Yuntian Dao section. Secondly, I also wanted to borrow your Yuntian Dao sect's collection to have a look. Ryasuk Yagamai said. Hearing this, the Taizhang elder opposite was thinking secretly in his heart. From what the other party said, it was obvious that he was not a native of Yunzhou. But the other party actually wanted to borrow their Yuntian Dao sect's classics to read. What if he was really super? With a vision background, they should not care about the cultivation classics collected by their little Yuntian Dao sect. Is this really a lucky boy? The Supreme Elder thought. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 364. At this moment, the Supreme Elder couldn't help but hesitate in his heart. At first, he assumed that Ryusuke Yagami was a descendant of a super powerful force, so he thought that no matter what the other party's purpose was, he would definitely do his best to achieve it for the other party. But now, the other party does not seem to be a descendant of a superpower. This made the Supreme Elder hesitate a little. However, this hesitation only lasted for a moment, and the Supreme Elder made a decision in his heart. It's still the same as originally decided, give him whatever he wants. Their Yuntian Daozong side fully cooperated. Moreover, the other party actually doesn't want much. Just look at the cultivation classics collected by the sect. To put it bluntly, they actually didn't have much to lose here. As for why the Supreme Elder made such a decision? On the one hand, it's because they really can't do anything to the person in front of them. The opponent possesses the Domain Lord level and has nearly invincible defense capabilities. Even if the other party is slightly inferior in other aspects. But this alone is enough to be invincible. On the other hand, the Supreme Elder dare not bet on what kind of behavior the other party will do after rejecting the other party. What if the other party just blocks the gate of their Yuntian Dao sect? They are not afraid of each other. But what about the other people in Yuntian Daozong? You can't stay in the sect forever and not come out, right? If that really happens, their Yuntian Dao sect should stop hanging out in Yunzhou in the future. By then, their Yuntian Dao sect will definitely become the laughing stock of the entire Yunzhou. Those sect forces that had bowed to them in the past would treat them as a joke and laugh at them. The key is, they can't even refute it. Why? They even left the door, so why? Certainly. The other party may not do this, or in other words, even if they want to block the door, they won't block it for too long. But does Yuntian Daozong dare to gamble like this? I simply don't dare. Therefore, taking these factors into consideration, the Taizhang Elder finally decided to agree to Yagami Ryusuke's request. Let the other party take a look at the cultivation classics collected by their Yuntian Dao section certainly. If they had some personal collections, they would naturally not give them to Ryusuke Yagami. He doesn't know anyway, right? If this is the case, I, Yuntian Daozong, can agree to your request. The great elder Taizhang said. Oh. Yagami Ryusuke looked at the other party in surprise. The old man in front of him was definitely very strong. Although there was no fight, Ryusuke Yagami could sense the strong threat from the other person. This is definitely a strong person at the 6th level of invincibility. If he really wanted to take action, Ryusuke Yagami would at most be invincible with his immortal divine body. Want to defeat this guy? Almost impossible. At least he can't do it now. However, what surprised Ryusuke Yagami was that the other party actually gave in. Originally, Ryusuke Yagami was thinking of fighting Yuntian Daozong again. After he had finished having fun, he would talk about the transaction at that time. As for what to trade for? Of course, they were the 6 5th level practitioners who were captured by Yagami Ryusuke, the top leaders of Yuntian Dao sect. As for the 3 guys with 6th level cultivation that he accidentally killed before? Isn't that a smooth attack? Why don't you stop it? Moreover, the strength of those 3 guys is indeed much weaker than the other 6th level experts. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been blown away by Yagami Ryusuke's golden will reincarnation. Are you afraid that I will block the door outside? Ryusuke Yagami thought. But in fact, he is not that bored, and he doesn't spend so much time here with the people of Yuntian Dao section among the warriors in the time and space continent. As long as their cultivation level reaches the 6th level, which one is not a cultivator? An old monster that has lived for tens of thousands of years? So, for them, hundreds of thousands of years are nothing. Not to mention the blink of an eye. But it is about the same as a few months for ordinary people. But for Night God, as far as Ryusuke is concerned, it only took a few years for him to come from scratch and have the strength he has now. Let him block the gate of Yuntian Daozong for hundreds of thousands of years. In that time, he would have been there long ago. His strength has been raised to the 8th level or even the 9th level. How could it be wasted in a place like this? Therefore, Yagami Ryuzyuk himself has never considered the situation at all. But the people of Yuntian Daozong don't know. They judge others by themselves, and feel that if it were them, they would definitely do this. So considering the consequences, it is not impossible to choose to give in to Ryuzyuk Yagami and agree to his request. A wise decision. Ryuzyuk, Yagami said with a smile. Then please lead the way, he said. After hearing this, the Supreme Elder also looked at him deeply, and then led him into the Yuntian Dao sect protecting formation. He saw that the Supreme Elder had brought him in. The Supreme Elders all cast inquiring glances. The Taizhang Elder was about to introduce him, but suddenly he remembered that he didn't know the other person's name, so he looked at Yagami Ryuzyuk. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. My surname is Yashin. Ryuzyuk Yagami said. The Supreme Elder nodded and said, Mr. Yagami will be a guest in our Yuntian Dao sect for a while. Mr. Yagami is very curious about the cultivation classics collected by our Yuntian Dao section later. Second brother, you take Mr. Yagami to the library. Mr. Yagami, are you satisfied with this arrangement? The great elder looked at Yagami Ryuzyuk and asked. Ken. Ryuzyuk Yagami nodded, and with a wave of his hand, he released Ling Yongxiao and the other 6 people, and removed the effect of Shaoning Vigana on them, allowing them to return to their normal size. Ling Yongxiao and others who had just recovered have not yet recovered. After understanding what happened, I saw several Supreme Elders around me, and they quickly saluted respectfully. Okay, Yun Xiao, you go and do your own business. This Mr. Yeshen will be a distinguished guest of our Yuntian Dao sect from now on. Don't offend Renwan. The Supreme Elder waved his hand and said. Although Ling Yongxiao and others didn't understand what happened, they didn't dare to ask more questions. After respectfully saying yes, they turned around and left. Mr. Yagami, come with you. The second Supreme Elder on the side, a middle-aged man who looked to be in his 40s and had a majestic face, said politely to Ryuzyuk Yagami. Ryuzyuk Yagami nodded and followed the second Supreme Elder. The elder left this place. As soon as the 2 of them left, the surrounding elders also looked at the Supreme Elder. Don't provoke this person during this period. If you can send him away peacefully, just pretend that nothing happened, the Supreme Elder said calmly. As for Lao Shiliu and the 3 of them, just consider them unlucky. Hearing this, the other Supreme Elders also nodded, although they were still a little angry. But they also knew that this was the best decision. Otherwise, they couldn't keep spending time with each other, right? Their Yuntian Dao sect family has a great cause. Yes, we can't afford it. The Inner Gate Library Pavilion. This is the largest library in the Yuntian Dao sect. Compared to the Outer Door Library, it only collects various cultivation techniques and martial arts from the Qi and Blood realm to the spiritual light realm. In the Inner Library Pavilion, there are directly stored the cultivation classics and martial arts skills of the 6 realms from the Qi and Blood realm to the Territory Lord realm. In the Time and Space continent, there are only 3 levels of exercises: heaven, earth, and people. And even the heaven level exercises are actually not such a rare thing. In Yuntian Dao sect, any true disciple practices heaven level skills, and the efficiency of absorbing cosmic energy is extremely high, which is 25 times that of practicing human level skills. Earth level skills, the 5th quilt of the Dharma. Therefore, the exercises are not actually the most important practice books in the library. What are truly regarded as the foundation of Yuntian Dao sect are the various practice notes left by those predecessors. For example, the Yuntian Dao sect's Inner Door Library, one of the most precious practice notes, Nalan Essays, records the understanding of the laws of the wind system by a senior of the Yuntian Dao sect named Nalan. By reading such practice notes, you can follow the predecessor's understanding of the laws. In this way, you can refer to yourself and improve your understanding of the laws. For warriors who have reached the world level, this is a truly precious thing. Others, such as exercises, martial arts, etc., are all played before the Kinkan realm. Just for fun. By the time a warrior reaches the world realm, these things will no longer be important, Wangzhaos. And in the library pavilion of the inner gate of Yuntian Dao sect, there are many various practices that the seniors of Yuntian Dao sect said they left behind. Notes. Some of them introduce fields. There are also those that introduce laws. There are various categories. In the time and space continent, there are 8 categories of laws. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, and light. These 8 categories of laws are not divided into high and low. They are just the types are just different. Of course, the laws they understand are different, and the abilities they are good at are also different. For example, the law of light has a great advantage in speed. The law of thunder is particularly powerful in terms of destructive power. Or the law of earth is good in defense and gravity. Has special advantages and so on. In fact, Ryosuke Yagamai himself has the application of many different laws. For example, the golden wheel reincarnation explosion is the application of the law of light. The silver wheel reincarnation explosion is the application of the wind law. Shinra Tenzen and Wangxiang T9, related to the laws of the earth system. Weight and so on. Yagamai Ryosuke has always used them, but he doesn't know their principles. And this time he comes to Yuntian Dao sect, the largest overlord-level sect force in Yunzhou. Yagamai Ryosuke. The purpose of the introduction is to allow myself to understand the principles of these laws and capabilities, so as to see if I can go further and reach higher heights. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 365. Inner Door Library. Ryosuke Yagamai plunged into the ocean of books. Huge books surrounded him. As the books were flipped through automatically, Yagamai Ryosuke, who had several shadow clones, also absorbed this knowledge into his mind. Then understand and compare. The day passed quickly. The sky outside has darkened. Ryosuke Yagamai took a deep breath at this time, and then the huge books floating around him slowly fell down and closed. Boom. 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 The shadow clones dispersed one by one. The memory returns to Yagamai Ryosuke's body. With the flood of memories pouring in, Ryosuke Yagamai also closed his eyes and sat cross-legged. It wasn't until more than 3 hours later that I opened my eyes. By this time, it was already around 11 o'clock at night. There's still half an hour until the next day. Yagamai Ryosuke quickly took out a drop of blood. That was a drop of blood from a strong person in the Domain Lord realm that I got before. The system converts entries. Yagamai Ryosuke said silently in his heart. Ding. Conversion successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the talent entry, Martial Arts Wizard, Super God level. This is, the upper term for Martial Arts Genius. Yagamai Ryosuke looked at the entry obtained through transformation and thought to himself. Immediately, he looked at the attributes of this entry. As expected. It is exactly the same as the previous entry for Martial Arts Genius. It's just that the numerical value has improved a lot. From the original 6,000% bonus, it has become the current 35,000% bonus. Wash it. Yagamai Ryosuke began to invest experience points to refine the attributes of this entry. 190 after dozens of refinements. With Yagamai Ryosuke's super luck bonus, he successfully refined this attribute to a 100% bonus. It is true that the merits are complete. Then, remove the original Martial Arts Genius entry and equip this new Martial Arts Wizard entry. The effect immediately increased dramatically. Moreover, Ryosuke Yagami discovered the martial arts wizard entry. The eternal life effect is better than the previous martial arts genius entry. The effect is even better. Just after equipping it for a while, Yagami Ryosuke's martial arts cultivation has broken through. He has reached the 4th level of the true Chi realm. Good. Ryosuke Yagami nodded with satisfaction. Then he continued to create several shadow clones to help him understand the law. For 3 days, Ryosuke Yagami did not leave the top floor of the inner library of Yuntian Dao sect. For 3 days. Over time, he successively transformed 3 more super god level entries. One of them was repeated with martial arts wizard. The other 2 were not repeated. And the effect was outstanding. Little genius of laws, super god level. You are a little genius in understanding the laws. You have unique and extraordinary attainments in a certain type of laws. Wind law enlightenment effect add 150%. Till death, super god level. You have special talents in combat. Before death comes, your status will never decline for any reason. The status is constant. The previous talent entry is a normal talent entry. Increased Ryosuke Yagami's comprehension efficiency in the laws of wind, DC. 150% is the effect obtained by Ryosuke Yagami after training. It can be said that the effect is outstanding. After all, that's a 1,500-fold improvement. After the promotion, Ryosuke Yagami's understanding of the laws of the wind system has indeed been greatly improved compared to other types of laws. On that day alone, he successfully made great progress in the wind law. In one step, he started from the previous field and reached the 5th level of the field. The second entry is very rare. It was a new entry that Ryosuke Yagami had never encountered before. This entry does not have any numerical attribute bonuses. There is only one state, and that is to stabilize Ryosuke Yagami's peak state so that his state will never be affected by any influence and thus decline. This entry doesn't look like much. There is no substantial bonus, and it seems to have no effect on increasing Ryosuke Yagami's strength. But in fact, the properties of this entry are extremely terrifying. The constant state means that Ryosuke Yagami will not only not suffer a decline in combat effectiveness due to injuries and other reasons, but also can negate any negative curses and other abilities. Whether it was a curse that made him weak or sick. Any other curses that would affect his combat performance will be directly invalidated. Interestingly, negative curses are nullified. But positive blessings and the like are effective. And it will be constant. What's the meaning? For example, in the game, your teammates add 50% attack effect to you. The duration of this effect is 30 minutes. But here at Ryosuke Yagami, this effect will be directly fixed and become a permanent effect. This is outrageous. If Ryosuke Yagami didn't have anything to test in this area, he would really want to give it a try. However, if you want to read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. It's like the chakra mode of the reincarnation eye. This won't work. Because there is a premise for this, that is, only by turning on this mode can you get the bonus. This cannot be constant. Specifically, Ryosuke Yagami doesn't know how it is judged. In short, if you have the chance, Yagami Ryosuke must give it a try. He felt that the power of the wedge could be constant. But now the level of the entry wedge power is too low. It needs to be upgraded to be effective. This day, Ryosuke Yagami is still in retreat on the top floor of the inner gate library. However, no one would bother me at this time in the past, because this is the top floor of the inner gate library, and there are only a few people who are qualified to enter here in the entire Yuntian Dao sect. However, Ryosuke Yagami saw someone here today. Senior. When the other party came up, he was stunned for a moment when he saw the figure of Yagami Ryosuke. Then he remembered what the elder of the library had ordered before he came up, and he quickly bowed respectfully. Although he had never seen the senior in front of him. If the other party can stay on the top floor of the inner sex library for a long time, and was sternly ordered by the elder of the library not to offend the senior, he knows that the senior must be a very high status being in the sect. Maybe even a certain person supreme elder. Thinking of this, Lee Yunji couldn't help but get excited. He was wondering if he could get the respect of this supreme elder. If the other party accepted him as his disciple, wouldn't he be about to take off? Lee Yunji is also considered an outstanding disciple in the inner sect of Yuntian Dao section. He is more than 300 years old this year and has already reached the peak of the 4th level of Kinkan realm. If he goes one step further, he will reach the perfect realm of Kinkan realm. At that time, he can try to condense the seeds of the world. He has opened up the inner world. At his age, there are very few inner sect disciples who can reach this step. Therefore, Lee Yunji is also one of the true disciples of the inner sect. This time, he has accumulated contributions for a period of time, and finally gained them. He came to the top floor of the library to read a book. He only had 3 days. So after greeting the senior, Lee Yunji began to look around for books that were useful to him on the top floor of the library. Yeshen Ryuzyuk was also observing the other person at this time. He thought that this person did not seem very old. He should be a disciple of Yuntian Dao sect. And in terms of cultivation, he had reached the 4th level. He was quite powerful. After all, the next step is the 5th level. Those inner sect elders of Yuntian Dao sect are only at the 5th level. And each of them has lived for thousands of years. As for the supreme elders with 6th level strength, those are old monsters who have lived for tens of thousands of years. To be honest, it is hard for Ryusuke Yagami to imagine what it would be like to live for tens of thousands of years. That must be amazing. After all, that is how many years it would be like to live for tens of thousands of years. 10,000 years. It has only been a few years since he traveled to the present day. By the way, do you want to try that return on investment system on this guy? While Ryusuke Yagami was observing this person, he also thought of the golden finger he had obtained in the Time Traveler Mutual Aid chat group. Although the golden fingers in the early stages are generally a bit tricky, Ryusuke Yagami felt that he was lucky. It should be. Wouldn't the return be less than 100% randomly? Moreover, the thing he planned to invest in this person was not a good thing. It was just a try. For example, the weapons he had previously seized from the inner sect elders of the Yuntian Dao sect. Ryusuke Yagami observed those weapons. The quality is good, and it also has a bonus effect on combat power. Although the effects are quite average, the best one only has an 80% bonus. But it's also awesome. That increases the attack effect by 80%. Others are not Ryusuke Yagami, who has such a thing as a talent entry. For warriors in this world, increasing the attack effect by 80% is already quite remarkable. Thinking of this, Yagami Ryusuke immediately called this person over. "Boy, come here." Yakami Ryusuke doesn't care how much older the other person is. Anyway, this guy just called him senpai. Then, Yagami Ryusuke naturally recognized his identity as senpai, and now calling him boy, isn't it normal? At this time, Lee Yunji, who was still selecting books over there, heard this and ran over in a hurry. "Senior, are you looking for me?" Lee Yunji looked excited. He thought the senior was going to accept him as his disciple. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 366. Take it. Ryusuke Yagami didn't waste any time and directly threw a sword in his hand to the opponent. This sword originally belonged to Ling Yongxiao, the master of Yuntian Dao sect, and it has the effect of enhancing 80% of the damage. Of course, there is an upper limit for enhancement. But for it is impossible to exceed this upper limit at the 5th level or even the 6th level. So you can use it with confidence. This, senior, Do you want to give it to me? Li Yunji could tell at a glance that the quality of the sword was extraordinary, and it was definitely a high-grade treasure. For such a treasure, he didn't even dare to think about it in the past. Now it is so easy to use. Did you get it? As for him, he is not good at sword skills or anything like that. Bah! There is such a precious sword, is there any problem in practicing sword skills? Besides, when the cultivation level has reached the world level, it has long been gone. No matter what kind of weapon it is, any weapon can exert a very powerful force in the hands of a world-level warrior. After all, what a world-level warrior relies on is either the domain or the law, and secondly, the level of power. But this power level is a must for all warriors. There is no restriction on weapons. If you have a power level of 30 times, then you can use the power level no matter if you use fists or other weapons. The effect comes. Therefore, the type of weapon is not important. What is important is always the quality of the weapon. High-quality weapons are naturally more popular. Take it and practice hard in the future. Yakami Ryusuke said lightly. He really looked like a sec senior who selflessly supported his juniors. Li Yunji in front of him was so moved. However, in fact, Yagami Ryusuke secretly felt in his heart surprise. Because just now, after he gave Li Yunji a high-grade sword as a gift, he directly received a 200% return on investment. And what he got in return was a top-grade sword with an attack bonus of 120%. War knife. Isn't this much better than what Ryusuke Yagami sent out? In the time and space continent, whether it is weapons, armor, auxiliary props, etc., they are collectively called magic weapons. Magic weapons are divided into upper, middle, lower, and top quality. And low-grade magic weapons are basically the same. It can only increase the user's strength by about 10%. The effect is very limited. The middle-grade magic weapon will be slightly better, and the increase effect can reach 50%. As for the high-grade magic weapon of a higher level, the increase is 80% at worst. The increase effect of good high-grade magic weapons is more than doubled. The limit can reach 200% increase. The high-grade sword that Yagami Ryusuke gave away before can only be regarded as the bottom item among high-grade magic weapons. But that's it? It is also the top treasure that can be obtained in Yuntian Dao sect. After all, this is the portable weapon of the leader of Yuntian Dao sect. Can it be worse? In Yuntian Dao sect, only those supreme elders have more than this. A better magic weapon. But the quantity is also very limited. And now the high-grade sword that Yagami Ryusuke got in return for his investment has an attack increase of 120%, which is considered poor among high-grade magic weapons. It belongs to the upper middle level. A top-grade magic weapon of this level. Looking at the entire Yuntian Dao sect, there is no second one. Even the magic weapon on the Taizhang Elder is slightly inferior. After all, this is Yunzhou. It is the lowest place among the 36 states. It is already very good to find some high-grade magic weapons. But you still want the best items among them. Think too much. Go ahead and don't disturb me. Ryusuke Yagami said lightly. Hearing this, Li Yunji also suppressed the excitement in his heart. While bending down to thank him respectfully, he held the high-grade sword tightly with both hands and turned around to leave excitedly. The next few days, oh my god, Li Yunji was reading conscientiously on the top floor of the library without disturbing Yagami Ryusuke over there. He didn't leave until his time in the library was up. Before leaving, Li Yunji came over to talk to Yagami Ryusuke. He said goodbye to this kind-hearted senior. Yagami Ryusuke just nodded lightly and had no other response. This made Li Yunji a little disappointed. After all, in his opinion, this senior was simply too generous. If you can become a disciple of your senior, will you be able to get better gifts in the future? What a pity. This senior seems to have no intention of accepting a disciple. After Li Yunji leaves, only the top floor of the library will be left. Ryosuke Yagamai was left alone. The next day, Ryosuke Yagamai opened his eyes that had been closed all day and night. He stretched out his hand, and wisps of blue energy gathered in his palm. The energy looked ordinary, but it contained power. But it should not be underestimated. Finally, an introduction to the rules. Ryosuke Yagamai thought to himself. After his enlightenment over the past few days, combined with his own ability of Yinlunjuan explosion, he finally entered the threshold of the law of wind. The next step is to continue to understand deeply the law of the wind system, until finally fully understanding the entire law of the wind system. However, if you want to achieve that step, it will be too difficult. But once it is achieved, Yagamai Ryosuke's strength will be even greater than it is now. More than billions of times stronger. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. The vast majority of 6th level warriors cannot even comprehend 1% of the laws of the first series. Once they can achieve 1% comprehension, you can obtain the recognition of the series of laws. In the time and space continent, those who can obtain the recognition of the laws are basically the strong ones in the 7th level World Lord realm. Is it like the Domain Lord is recognized by the laws? That requires a super genius to do it. Ordinary genius? Don't even think about it. And now, Ryosuke Yagamai has just entered the introductory stage of the wind system. Not to mention 1% of the complete wind system, not even 1/10,000th. He still has a long way to go. However, with Yagamai Ryosuke's understanding and his own unique conditions, it is not difficult to reach the step of being recognized by the law. Spend a little time on it. Should be able to do it soon. Maybe half a year, maybe a year. Compared with other warriors, this is not too easy. And I can also add my future entries to increase the speed of enlightenment. If I can get a supreme level entry, maybe I can increase the speed dozens or hundreds of times. Ryosuke Yagamai thought to himself. However, how difficult is it to obtain a supreme level entry? Even if Ryosuke Yagamai now wants to do it, he can only rely on luck. From now on, if you synthesize it 10,000 times a day, you will always be able to synthesize a supreme entry. Ryosuke Yagamai thought to himself. After all, there is a saying that goes well, the emperor pays off. If you do something persistently, you will always be rewarded. Time passes day by day. In the blink of an eye, it is not long before Ryosuke Yagamai enters Yuntian Deo. It has been a month since I started reading in the Sex Inner Library. On this day, Yagamai Ryosuke woke up from the comprehension of the law again. Introduction to the Law of Light. Now I have 3 basic rules. In the past month, Yagamai Ryosuke has completed the introduction to the 3 types of laws, wind system, water system, and the light under his eyes. As for the other laws, he has reached the 5th level of the field at worst. The 8th system. Laws, it seems that Ryosuke Yagamai is good at every system. But for now, Ryosuke Yagamai has no intention of comprehending all 8 laws of the law at the same time. After all, human experience is limited. In terms of comprehending the laws, Shadow Clone it didn't help him as much as he thought. Maybe it's because the Shadow Clone doesn't have a soul. Therefore, the Shadow Clone can at most help him save time in reading those practice notes, but it will take Ye Shen Liang to comprehend anything. Just introduce yourself. Not bad. I can learn the laws of the 3 systems in 1 month. This speed, if you talk about it, other warriors will be envious. Ryosuke Yagamai is not dissatisfied with his speed. On the contrary, he is actually quite satisfied. Let's try our luck today. I synthesized 10,000 times a day in the previous month, which adds up to 300,000 times. I don't believe it, I haven't been able to synthesize a supreme level entry. Ryusuke Yagami will set aside some time every day to synthesize entries. He currently has several repetitive super god level entries that can be synthesized. Open the system interface and enter the synthesis interface. As usual, Ryusuke Yagami combines to put the repeated super god level entries and click the synthesis button. Originally, Ryusuke Yagami never thought that he would be able to synthesize a supreme level entry today. After all, 300,000 times sounds like a lot. But in fact it is not. It only costs 7.5 million experience points. Not much at all. Compared to the 10 billion experience points needed to upgrade a supreme level entry. Where is this? Therefore, even if it is Yagami Ryusuke himself, actually I never thought I could synthesize a supreme entry so quickly. But sometimes people's luck is so magical. When luck comes, it can't be stopped. In front of his eyes, a bright light suddenly filled Yagami Ryusuke's entire sight. He had never seen anything like this before and was stunned for a moment. After a while, the vision disappeared. Then Ryusuke Yagami looked at the synthesized talent entry on the system synthesis interface. Level. Supreme level. The first supreme entry, is it just synthesized? Ryusuke Yagami's eyes widened in surprise. His face was full of disbelief. It's a bit sudden. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 367. After being surprised, Yagami Ryusuke also hurriedly clicked on the information of this freshly released supreme level entry to check it out. This is a supreme level entry. Correspondingly, that is the 6th level. Although, not every supreme level entry can bring 6th level power to Ryusuke Yagami. But at least there's potential. Moreover, even if it is of an auxiliary nature, it can increase his strength to the 6th level in a short period of time. Very impressive. How could Ryusuke Yagami not be surprised by such an entry? Son of the universe, supreme level, your biological son of the original universe, you have amazing talents for the 10 laws of the universe that are different from ordinary people. This is a unique advantage given to you by the original universe. The efficiency of understanding the laws of the 10 series is at 300%. Attached, Law Affinity. Law Affinity, your comprehension speed before being recognized by the law will be 10,000 times faster than normal. Naiubi. 3,000 times bonus to law understanding efficiency. Moreover, there is also an accompanying law affinity ability, which can increase Yagami Ryusuke's understanding of the law by 10,000 times before it reaches 1%. Tisk tisk. This is already a 3,000 times increase. 763 comes again 10,000 times. That's 30 million times more. One day of enlightenment is equivalent to 30 million days of enlightenment for others. What's more, Yagami Ryusuke's understanding is also quite good. Moreover, there was a 1,500 times bonus from the wind law before. I just don't know whether the 1,500 times and the 3,000 times bonus of the 10 series rule are based on addition or multiplication. If this is multiplication, that would be outrageous. But, it turns out that there are 10 series of laws. In addition to metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, and light, what are the other 2 categories? Space and time. Ryusuke Yagami guessed. The main reason is that he possesses the 2 super god level terms, divinity of space and divinity of time. In the process of comprehending the rules in the past month, Ryusuke Yagami discovered that metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, these 5 system laws seem to be related to space. It means a bit upper and lower. Understanding the 5 system laws of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, Yagami Ryusuke has a certain understanding of some of the powers granted by the space divine power. Although this understanding is still very one-sided, it is enough to explain the connection between the 2 parties. Maybe there really is a connection. As for why the people of Yunti and Daozong don't know the existence of the two laws of space and time. Maybe it's because this place in Yunzhou is really too tight. Ryosuke Yagamai thought to himself. After equipping this newly released Supreme Entry Child of the Universe, Ryosuke Yagamai really felt that his perception of the law suddenly increased countless times. Why? Because he is now those who have the most understanding of the laws of the 8 series have just started. Almost, they have not even started yet. But the moment this entry is added to the equipment, the rules of the 5 series, which have not yet been introduced, instantly reach the entry level. And the progress of the 3 systems of laws that had already been introduced was soaring. Ryosuke Yagamai discovered that even if he just simply perceived the traces of laws in the universe, he could improve his understanding of the laws. This efficiency, it's simply outrageous. The most efficient among them is the law of wind. One of his rides is outstanding. No opponent. However, although the speed of the wind system is faster than that of the other 7 systems, it is not much faster. Therefore, the addition of 2 entries should be addition rather than multiplication. This actually made Ryosuke Yagamai a little disappointed. Certainly. Only a little bit. After all, the current speed is already a bit unbelievable. A few minutes later, Ryosuke Yagamai found that he had successfully mastered the 2 higher laws of space and time. Sure enough, there are 2 laws, space and time. Space is the superior law of the 5 systems of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, while time is the superior law of the 3 systems of wind, thunder, and light. Understanding the 8 lower laws will help improve the understanding of the 2 upper laws. But, it seems that the laws can still be integrated. Ryosuke Yagamai's perception of the laws at this moment reached an unprecedented height. Therefore, he discovered that the 10 series of laws are actually a whole. In other words, the laws can be fused. And the effect after the fusion is obviously better than a single law is stronger. The same is 1% comprehension. If it is a fusion of 2 laws, then this fused law must be stronger than a single law. How much stronger? Yagamai Ryosuke is not sure about this. After all, he has not been able to master the 2 laws. But he is already trying. With Ryosuke Yagamai's own understanding and the increased understanding of the entries, his understanding of the laws is as efficient as those of advanced students. He is a genius at the level of the Universe Kingdom. At this moment, with a 30 million-fold bonus, 1 day of his practice is equivalent to 30 million days of cultivation for a genius at the level of the higher universe nation. And for a genius at the level of the higher universe nation, they have never practiced. It takes about 200 to 300 years for the law to be recognized by the origin of the law. And this is converted into about 100,000 days. And Yagamai Ryosuke's current practice for 1 day is equivalent to their 30 million days of practice. Therefore, it took about 5 minutes. Ryosuke Yagamai's understanding of the 8 laws of the law reached 1%. In an instant, Ryosuke Yagamai seemed to see the origin space of the laws in the universe. Then there was a sign between his eyebrows. Different runes began to emerge. Metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, and light. The laws of the 8 series have all been recognized by the origin of the laws. This level of understanding is already comparable to the 7th level World Lord realm. And most of the World Lord realms a strong person may not be recognized by the origin of the law. A realm lord who can be recognized by the origin of the law is also at the top level in the realm of realm lords. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. But now, Ryosuke Yagamai, a little guy with 6th level strength, has been recognized by the origin of the lower laws of the 8 series. If this is known by the world masters who have not yet been recognized by the origin of the laws, they will be separated from each other by jealousy. Of course. What I'm talking about here is actually just ordinary geniuses. Geniuses like Ryosuke Yagamai at the level of a high-level universe. Basically at the world level, they can be recognized by the origin of the law. Ryosuke Yagami's efficiency. In fact, it counts slower 0. However, if you count it as a warrior realm, Ryosuke Yagami has actually just stepped into the realm of spiritual light. Yes. Ryosuke Yagami just broke through the spiritual light realm 2 days ago. A flash of spiritual light was born within his body. It is still in the early stages of the spiritual light realm. And the spiritual light realm is recognized by the origin of the law. What's that called? A monster-level genius at the level of a high-level universe nation? I'm afraid it won't stop. That must be a super genius who looks at the entire human race level. More than 4 minutes passed. 2 different runes appeared one after another between Ryosuke Yagami's eyebrows. One represents space. One represents time. This means that in the 2 superior laws of space and time, he has also entered the level recognized by the origin of the laws. At this point, the ability of law affinity has ended. Lost the increase of 10,000 times. All of a sudden, Yagami Ryosuke's perception of the law plummeted. This made Ryosuke Yagami feel very uncomfortable. It took me several minutes to get used to it. Losing the 10,000-fold increase, the effect of understanding the rules was suddenly much worse. Ryosuke Yagami thought with some regret. However, this is also very impressive. At least it only took Ryosuke Yagami a few minutes to get started with the law and enter the current stage of recognition of the origin of the law. And even if the 10,000-fold increase effect has been lost, but the 3,000-fold increase brought by the attributes of the entry itself is still there. Besides, this 3,000-fold increase effect should only be the lowest level of the supreme law, right? Yagami Ryosuke secretly guessed with. Then practice it? Thinking to himself, Yagami Ryosuke opened the entry conversion interface. Put this freshly baked supreme entry. Refining the supreme entry is very expensive. Even the refining of a single attribute is extremely expensive. Yagami Ryosuke looked at the experience points he had accumulated during this period. He thought it should be enough. So he began to continuously refine the 5.3 single attributes of this word. The first time was 350%. Keep washing. The second time 330%. Still not working, come again. Yagami Ryosuke practiced again and again. Seeing his experience value dropping. But looking at the bonus value that sometimes exceeded 5,000 times, he still felt it was worth it. Very quickly, 20 or 30 minutes passed. Yagami Ryosuke looked at the experience value that was less than 10% of the original value. Then he looked at the attributes of this entry after successful training. Suddenly, he felt a sense of accomplishment. Born. It's all worth the effort. Yagami Ryosuke said in his heart. Son of the universe, supreme level, your biological son of the original universe, you have amazing talents for the 10 laws of the universe that are different from ordinary people. This is a unique advantage given to you by the original universe. The efficiency of understanding the laws of the 10 series is at 1.000.000%. Attached, law affinity. 10,000 times bonus. This is the perfect attribute of a supreme entry. It is more than 3 times higher than before. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 368. 10,000 times, I don't know if my comprehension efficiency is fast in this world. Or just average. Or is it extremely evil? Ryosuke Yagami guessed in his mind. However, because there is no target to refer to, he cannot get an accurate answer. But no matter what, this speed is definitely not slow. Even if the bonus of the law affinity effect is lost, with Ryosuke Yagami's current comprehension efficiency is enough for him to understand the complete lower law within 100 years. You know, the complete understanding of the lower law is the sign of an 8th level powerhouse. If you want to break through to the 8th level, the most critical point in the immortal realm is to completely understand a lower law. Only in this way can you have the conditions to break through to the immortal realm. Of course, it does not mean that you have understood a law, which means you have immortality. The strength of the realm. The law is an increase of the warrior's own strength. Just imagine, you are in the domain lord realm, and others are in the immortal realm. Their foundation is the power of the immortal realm, and your foundation is only the domain lord realm. Same thing. After understanding a law, can the strength be the same? How big is the difference between the immortal realm and the territory lord realm? The limit of the territory lord realm. That is, the 6th level is invincible. There is 1,000 times gap with the 7th level, which is the most rubbish. And the most rubbish the 7th level, to the 7th level invincibility. There is a gap of nearly 0.6 times between the two. In other words, the gap between the 6th level invincibility and the 7th level invincibility is 100 million times. And the 7th level invincibility is the same as the most rubbish. The difference between the 8th level and the 8th level is 100,000 times. That is to say, the difference between the 6th level invincibility and the most rubbish 8th level is a terrifying 10 trillion times. With such an exaggerated gap, your laws must be compared to how powerful must an 8th level warrior be before he can kill his opponent? It's very simple, just be 10 trillion times stronger than the opponent. Of course. Comparing the 6th level domain master realm with the 8th level immortal realm is actually very boring. Because even if we look at the entire original universe, there is no life form in the domain lord realm that can kill the immortal realm. No matter how talented you are. No matter how strong your life foundation is. It is impossible to cross these 100,000. The gap is a billion times. However, if the world lord realm kills the immortal realm, it is quite a lot. After all, this time, the gap has narrowed a lot. For those true monster level geniuses, the realm lord realm kills the immortal realm. Isn't it a very simple matter? But domain lord realm. Forget it, you'd better not embarrass others. Spending 100 years to reach the 8th level of law comprehension? Yagami Ryosuke thinks that he most likely won't need that long. Although at his current speed of comprehension, it does take such a long time, but who stipulates that he will not continue to improve in the future? Besides, the most efficient state for comprehending the laws is the world master state. And where is Yagami Ryosuke now? Okay. Well. In fact, his real realm is the 3rd level spiritual light realm. The 6th level strength is entirely brought about by the bloodline ability and the power of gods. It is not the cultivation system of this world. Therefore, even if his power of gods breaks through to the 7th level, in fact, it will not improve the efficiency of understanding the law. Because the cultivation system is different. Besides, if the power of the gods wants to break through to the 7th level, then the talent entry of Ryosuke Yagami cannot be upgraded to the supreme level. In other words, the supreme level. What is the entry level above the supreme level? Yagami Ryosuke is quite curious. However, in view of previous experience, if you want to unlock the entry level above the supreme level, you may have to obtain 10 supreme level entries first. Okay. And now there is only one Yagami Ryosuke. It's still early to reach 10. Take your time and improve your understanding of the rules first. 1% is the 7th level, and 100% is the 8th level. The span in between is indeed quite large. Obviously, it is not easy to break through the 8th level immortal realm. Of course. I am talking about the warriors in this world. For Ryosuke Yagami, it is just a matter of spending more time or less time. And at most, it was only 100 years. In the blink of an eye. More than a month passed. In the meantime, Ryosuke Yagami went back to the Naruto world, and then stayed for a day, and then came back. There was no way, in the Naruto world, he couldn't comprehend it. Law. It should not be allowed by the rules of the world. After all, it is a world where blood is supreme, not a world of cultivation and understanding of the world. Even the Otsutsuki clan follows the line of blood being king. Cultivation. You have cultivated to a super level, shadow level is the limit. And the corresponding level of super shadow level is only the second level. Therefore, Ryosuke Yagami stayed there for a day, then returned to this world and continued to be immersed in the ocean of laws. Anyway, as long as if you don't actively open the Naruto chat group, then the time flow rate in the Naruto world can be stretched to a ratio of 1000:1 compared to him. In other words, if Yagami Ryosuke stays here for 1000 days, the time flow in the Naruto world will only 1 day has passed. 1000 days have passed for more than 2 years. And now, Ryosuke Yagami has only stayed for more than 2 months. Where is this? Read the cool novels and go up to Flylu Novel Network. Therefore, there is no need to worry about what will happen to him when he is away from the Naruto world for a long time. On this day, Yagami Ryosuke met another true disciple who came to the top floor of the Inner Gate Library to read. Then he gave him a gift, a magic weapon with a 50% material attack bonus. As a result, the return on investment was only 110%. Although the capital was repaid, a small profit was made. But it also made Ryosuke Yagami realize that he had lost money from the Time Traveler Mutual Aid chat group. The golden finger he got is indeed quite useless. Even with his luck, there is no guarantee that he can get a 200% return every time. Although he will not lose money. But with this little profit, who cares? Yagami Ryo, I am quite disappointed with this cheat. However, if you want to upgrade this cheat, you need 100,000 points. So far, Yagami Ryosuke, who has been in the group for more than 2 months, still has 0 points in the group. No. Method. The way to obtain points in this mutual aid chat group of time travelers is too simple. It's just a group task. The key point is that this group of tasks is also divided into individual tasks and group tasks. For individual tasks, whoever receives them will complete them by themselves. If you can't complete them, they won't be able to do it. The method is passed on to others. Therefore, unless it is a team task, do you want to earn points? It depends on your own luck and whether you can trigger a personal task. However, generally personal tasks do not give many points. As few as 1 or 200. As many as 2 or 3,000. Tens of thousands. Never appeared at all. In the past 2 months, Ryosuke Yagami has also been in the group, mainly because of the other 2 newcomers Lucien and Wang Jiwei. Asking the old members for help. It seems like they have transformed into 100,000 wise. Sometimes the old members will answer some of their questions when they are in a good mood. But most of the time, no one pays attention to them. These 2 people are also shameless enough. Ho! There is no embarrassment at all. Even if no one responds to me time and time again, when I encounter trouble, I will still lick my face and come to the group for help. However, this once again proves that this group name is really made up randomly. Help each other? It depends on your mood. Just like now. Ryosuke Yagami was taking advantage of his break to read through some of the chats in yesterday's chat group. Record. The daily chat records of this chat group will basically not exceed 50. If this were left in the Penguin group in the previous life, it would be a half-dead and useless group. After all, if a chat group can't receive 1,000 plus messages per day, what kind of active chat group is it? However, considering that the people in this time traveler chat group are all time travelers, and most of them are time travelers who have traveled to a world with extraordinary power. Everyone is usually very busy. If he's not practicing in seclusion, he's fighting monsters and upgrading. There really isn't that much time for water groups. That is to say, individual group members who travel to a world without extraordinary powers may have more time, but their free time may not necessarily be used to join the group. Isn't it nice to eat, drink and have fun? After all, water groups and the like are of no benefit at all to those of them who have traveled to a world without extraordinary power. How? They can't have any benefits from anyone else, right? Do you really think that if the group is called the Time Traveler Mutual Aid Chat Group, it is really going to be so friendly to help each other? Therefore, the group is the most active during this period. It's still just the two newcomers except Ryusuke Yagamai. At this moment, these two guys asked for help in the group again. Ryusuke Yagamai always felt that these two guys seemed to be in trouble every day. The whole unlucky guy? Lucien 6932, help. Someone wants to kill me. Xiaofan 555, someone wants to kill you again? What on earth have you been doing all day? How come someone wants to kill you every now and then? And, why aren't you dead yet? 666, actually Ryusuke Yagamai also wanted to ask this question. This Lucien basically yells that someone wants to kill him every 3 or 4 days. Sometimes someone would help him, but most of the time no one paid any attention to him. But in the end, he was still alive and well. That's outrageous. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 369. Lucien 6932, no, someone really wants to kill me this time. Xiaofan 555, so it was all false before? Wang Jiwei 6977, can you give me some weapons or something like that? I'm so torn. Zhao Shui 123, cracked. How did it crack? How come it's still alive after being torn apart? Wang Jiwei 6977, Sister Zhao, please stop laughing at me. I'm really in big trouble this time. The club I joined was banned. I'm really being hunted now. Xiaofan 555, laughing to death. Didn't you say last time that the club you joined was very promising? Wang Jiwei 6977, the leader of the fucking society is such a charlatan that he even went to seduce the sister-in-law of Hongxing society. This time the game is really going to be over. Zhao Shui 123, you have offended Hongxing and still want to live? Wait to die. Wang Jiwei 6977, not good. Sister Zhao, help me. Lucien 6932, no, save me first. I'm even more anxious here. Zhao Shui 123, what happened to you over there? Who wants to kill you? Lucien 6932, my evil boss took over a life-threatening mission. This time he offended people from Dongchang, and the game will be over soon. Xiaofan 555:666. You two newcomers are really awesome. One joined a club and offended Hongxing, and another finally became a small-time policeman, but his immediate boss offended Dongchang in the blink of an eye. Zhou Xianming 166, you have offended Dongchang and still want to run away? Wait to die. Lucien, 6932, no. I don't want to die. I am still young. Wang Jiwei 6977, guys, help me. Human life is at stake. You guys can save me by just digging it out from under your fingernails. Forget it about Lucien, Dongchang is too powerful and cannot be saved. Lucien 6932, damn it. Wang Ji stabbed me in the back for you. Wang Jiwei 6977, I tell the truth. Your world is a world of mixed martial arts. Can the Dongchang of a dynasty be an ordinary person? There must be an expert in charge. Xiaofan 555, there is something really good about Ming dynasty in mixed martial arts. Lucien 6932, Dongchang is actually okay, right? There are just a few grandmasters. If you give me something casually, even the great masters will turn into ashes, right? Xiaofan 555, brother, you think highly of me too much. Lucien 6932, brother Xiao, I didn't talk about you. After all, the level of martial arts in heaven and dragon sword is not as high as mine. Xiaofan 555, damn it. Do you look down on me? I am also a Xiantian realm warrior after all. Wang Jiwei 6977, trash Lucien. How dare you look down on me, brother Xiao. Brother Xiao, we don't have the same knowledge as him. Please see if you have any commonly known magical secrets on hand. Or maybe play some thunderbolts or something. Xiaofan 555, the secret realm of magical power? Haha. I want it myself too. Zhao Shui 123, the two newcomers are so miserable. They are about to die. Now only one newcomer from the previous batch will be left. Zhou Xianming 166, another newcomer rarely makes a fuss. Look at other people and then look at you, you know how to shout for help at all times of the day, it's really embarrassing for the time travelers. Lucien 6932, woohoo. Guys, I don't want to either, but the golden finger is not powerful. Wang Jiwei 6977, my golden finger is the same. I thought survival and evolution was so awesome. As a result, not only is the evolution slow, but it is also temporary, and the upper limit is also very low, which is terrible. Chris 666, the cheats for beginners' welfare are all like this, just get used to it. Lucien 6932, Captain America. Help. Chris 666, ahem. I'm not Captain America, I just played Captain America. Wang Jiwei 6977, same thing. You are Captain America in my mind. Boss, do you have any babies in the DC world that can mutate people with just one injection? I want to borrow it. Chris 666, no. If there was that thing, I would have used it myself. Looking at the messages that kept scrolling in the group, Yagami Ryuzyuk also knew what kind of danger the two guys in the same batch with him had encountered. However, what the two said was exaggerated, but in fact it was not a life or death moment. No matter it was Lucien who offended Dong Chang. Or Wang Jiwei, whose club was wiped out by Hong Xing. In fact, there is basically no danger at the moment, it is just an exaggeration. Take Lucien for example, it was his boss who offended Dong Chang, not him. Although Dong Chang blamed him, he might be implicated by his boss. But as long as you give in, you can still take it out when the time comes. Just lose a little bit of face. But if you can live, what's the point of losing a little face? And Wang Jiwei, that's even simpler. If the club is swept away, then find another club. He is a newcomer who has only been in the club for more than a month and less than 2 months. As long as he doesn't seek death, he can still live well in another club. The reason why the two of them were crying and shouting in the group looked like they were about to lose their lives. To put it bluntly, I still want to see if I can take advantage of the opportunity. As for whether doing this will be seen through by others, would it be embarrassing to see through it? Forget it. These two guys have long since developed their shamelessness to the point where they are as strong as an iron wall. I don't care at all about whether it's embarrassing or not. However, it was obvious that all the older members of the group had seen through their little thoughts. In addition to watching the excitement, there is also a strange atmosphere. To read cool novels, go to Feel a Novel Network. No one is willing to help them. It's really a supportive and friendly chat group. Ryusuke Yagami laughed. This group is so interesting. Xiaofan 555, speaking of which, it's finally time for the plot to start here. I heard a few days ago that Master Zhang of the Wudan clan was going to do it. It's my 100th birthday, and I guess it's almost time for Zhangwuji's family to return to the Central Plains. Zhao Shui 123, the first level of peak, not bad. Has the innate perfection been achieved? Xiaofan 555, yes. Finally, the emperor has paid off and finally let me I have cultivated to the innate perfection, but at this stage, I am almost reaching my limit. The upper limit of the world of Yishan slaying dragon is only the second level, and the probability is that of the early stage of the second level, and the next step is to prepare for breaking through to the Grand Master realm. Zhou Xianming 166, there is only one great master in your world, Zhang Sanfan, right? With your current strength, you are almost the number one person behind Zhang Sanfan. Xiaofan 555, not to mention, there is a Persian Ming cult overseas, and there are probably some masters who have reached the innate Dzogchen there, and there are also 3 crossings in Shaolin, which are probably also innate Dzogchen cultivation. Zhao Shui 123, is your internal strength not very good? Xiaofan 555, yes, yes. My internal strength is also a problem. It is not considered top-notch in the world of Yishan dragon slaying. Unfortunately, I have been looking for it in Kunlun Mountain for so long, but I can't find the 9 Yang magic. Zhou Xianming 166, you are also unlucky. Logically speaking, the entrance to the paradise where the white ape lives is not far from that villa, but in the end, you can't find it. Xiaofan 555, that's it? I want to see how Zhangwuji is found in the future. When the time comes, I will follow Zhangwuji. Wang Jiwei 6977, 9 Yang magic. Want to? Brother Xiao, can you share it after you get it? Xiaofan 555, are you thinking about shit? Moreover, in your world, can you cultivate internal strength? Wang Jiwei 6977, how will you know if you don't give it a try? Lucien 6932, stop dreaming. You are in a Hong Kong zone world, or a Hong Kong zone world without demons. How can you develop such internal strength? Ryasuke 6901, everyone is here. I'll see how excited you are talking when you come here. Xiaofan 555, haha. Brother Yashin has been very busy recently. I can't even see you. Ryasuke 6901, just so. You all know that I joined a sect and I have been busy practicing recently. Wang Jiwei 6977, Brother Yeshen. Please save me, little brother. Brother, I am going to be beaten to death by the people from Hongxing Society. Lucien 6932, no. This guy named Wang is still far away from death. Brother Yashin must save me first. I have offended Dongchang here, so I am in a hurry. Ryasuke 6901, is it so dangerous? I just recently got 2 pills from an elder that can improve my physical fitness. These are of little use to me, so I'll give them to you first. Ryasuke 6901 sent a designated red envelope. Ryasuke 6901 sent a designated red envelope. Ryasuke sent 2 red envelopes in succession. And it was designated that only Lucien and Wang Jiwei could receive it. On the other side, the non-magic version of Hong Kong Comprehensive World. Wang Jiwei, who was drinking and having fun in the bar, saw 2 red envelopes sent by the group and quickly opened them. However, one of them was prompted by Qianzhao, that he could not receive it, but the other one successfully received it. Haha. This guy is so easy to cheat. Wang Jiwei said with a happy smile. Brother Wang, what's so easy to deceive? A woman with heavy makeup next to her leaned on Wang Jiwei and asked curiously. I said you were too deceptive. Wang Jiwei laughed and got some oil stuck. The woman was so irritated that she lightly punched Wang Jiwei's body with her small fists. Brother Wang, you are so bad. Wang Jiwei played with the woman for a while, and then left the box on the pretext of going to the toilet. At the same time, Wu Daming World. Lucien, who was sitting at a tea stall enjoying the cool breeze, also received a red envelope. This Yagamai Ryuzyuk is so easy to deceive. It would be great if all the old members in the group were as easy to fool as him. Lucien thought greedily. While secretly taking out the elixir he got from receiving the red envelope, he took it out of the closet. Is this the elixir of the fantasy world? He excused himself to relieve himself, walked to a tree not far away, and carefully observed the dark pill in his hand. It looked just like an ordinary pill. There was no trace of it at all. The layout of the fantasy world. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 370. Real or fake? Could it be poison? Lucien is a little worried. He will definitely not be so kind as to give away really useful elixirs to others. Therefore, even though he was still thinking that Yagamai Ryuzyuk was too easy to deceive, now Lucien but still didn't fully believe that the elixir given by the other party was really a treasure that could improve physical fitness. Don't rush to take it now. After work, dig out some and find a wild dog to try. Lucien didn't dare to try it himself, so he decided to be on the safe side and find a wild dog to give it a try. But it's obviously not suitable right now. He still has to wait until he gets off work. He put away the elixir and hid it in the pocket inside his clothes. Lucien pretended to have finished urinating, then turned around with a smile and returned to the tea stall to continue drinking and chatting with other police officers patrolling the streets. As for what he said in the group before, that his boss offended Dong Chang? It was true. But the relationship between that boss and Lucien is not close, so this matter actually does not involve Lucien. On the other side, Wumo Port Comprehensive World. In the toilet cubicle, Wang Jiwei also took out the red envelope he received. Of the pill, looking at the black pill that didn't look very good looking. Is this thing really useful? Could it be a lie? Like Lucien, Wang Jiwei also didn't fully believe that Yagamai Ryuzyuk would be so kind. He was worried that the other party would use some fake thing to fool him. So, Wang Jiwei thought about it and used his nails to rub the pill. Some medicinal powder was scraped off the surface. Just give it a try and you'll find out, he said in his heart. Then he put away the elixir and quickly left the toilet. Bang! The toilet door was slammed shut. For a moment, the toilet became much quieter, and it seemed as if it was different from the deafening music in the bar outside. They were two worlds apart. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of the mirror of the toilet sink. Is this the Hong Kong TV world that Wang Jiwei traveled through? The wooden clone of Ryuzyuk Yagamai looked around, and then looked at himself in the mirror. Would escape. Transformation technique. Bang! Ryuzyuk Yagamai in the mirror instantly changed his appearance. Even the clothes on his body changed. It became a style in line with this era. That way there's no problem. The wooden clone nodded. However, I wonder if the main body will come. Yagamai Ryuzyuk's wood clone thought. This time, under the pretext of giving away the elixir, Yagamai Ryuzyuk actually put the shrunken wood clone in the elixir and sent it away. Wang Wenwei and Lucien received the red envelope. They naturally brought the two wooden clones of Ryuzyuk Yagamai to their respective worlds. In this way, Ryuzyuk Yagamai also obtained the time and space coordinates of the two worlds. Yes. Use the ability of anchor of time and space to try to travel through it. But traveling between two different worlds is actually very dangerous. Unless it is like traveling between different Naruto worlds, because they are under the same system. In addition, Ryosuke Yagamai's strength has far exceeded the upper limit of the Naruto world. Therefore, the risk is extremely low. But if it is a world under two different systems, and the upper limit of the world far exceeds Ryosuke Yagamai's own strength, then the risk of this kind of time travel will be extremely high. And now, whether it is the Wudang Port Comprehensive World or the Comprehensive Ming Dynasty world, they are all in a different system from the world where Yagamai Ryosuke lives. The good news is that these two worlds are different. The upper limit of extraordinary power is not high. There is no extraordinary power in the world without the magic port. However, the level of the world Ryosuke Yagamai is in is too high. In the fantasy world, it is a high-level existence. Therefore, if he tries to travel directly from there, the risk is actually quite high. Fortunately, Ryosuke Yagamai has a roundabout way. He also used this method before returning to the ninja world. That is to first use himself to chat with Naruto. The privileges in the group are directly transferred to other parallel Naruto worlds. Because they rely on the power of the Naruto chat group, there is no possibility of risky situations. Although the upper limit of the Naruto chat group for these group members is not high, in fact the upper limit of the ability of this chat group itself is very high. It is just not open to them. Therefore, with the help of the power of the Naruto chat group, you can safely travel between two different worlds. And after returning to the Naruto world, Yagamai Ryosuke can take the initiative to use his ability to travel, and with the help of the time and space coordinates locked by the anchor of time and space, he can reach the world of Wumo Port and the world of Samwudaming. There should be no problem. In this way, Ryosuke Yagamai can easily. They realized smuggling into the world where the two group members lived. Neither Lucien nor Wang Jiwei knew anything about it. They thought Ryosuke Yagamai was easy to deceive and he took advantage of it. Little did he know. The two of them had exposed their base camp to Ryosuke Yagamai, and even gave him the key to the door. It's been a long time since I've experienced this kind of modern urban atmosphere. Although the age of Hong Kong comprehensive world is just in the early 1990s, Hong Kong is worthy of being the financial center of Asia in this era. Compared with Hong Kong in later generations, it is not far behind. The wooden clone of Ryosuke Yagamai wandered in the steel jungle, feeling the familiarity that he had almost forgotten in the past few years. Gradually, the wooden clone of Ryosuke Yagamai also slowed down to feel this familiar feeling. The unique beauty of the city in this era. But just now, a red portal suddenly opened in the space in front of him. Then another Yagamai Ryosuke walked out from behind the door. Ontology, you are here. The wooden clone said. Yagamai Ryosuke nodded, and then looked around the surrounding environment. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Xiangjiang. It seems that I have never been to the city in my previous life, and I have only seen it in movies and TV. When the wooden clone heard this, he also sighed with emotion. Yes, but this city has really remained the same for decades. It feels like it hasn't changed much from the Xiangjiang of later generations. Relatively speaking, the city center has not changed much. Those areas that are still in the suburbs now have been developed in later generations. High-rise buildings have been built. A certain head of the Li family holds a lot of real estate, but it is too late. They delay development and wait for land prices to rise, and then develop slowly and sell them at a high price. I have to say that rich people can really make money. Of course. They are indeed capitalists. They don't care about the lives of ordinary people. But these have nothing to do with Ryosuke Yagamai, and this is just the Hong Kong comprehensive world. To put it bluntly, the world of Ryosuke Yagamai's previous life is just two similar flowers. It cannot be generalized. However, in Ryosuke Yagamai, while I was still lamenting the development of modern cities, a reminder suddenly sounded in my mind. Ding! Group member Ryosuke Yagamai 6901 sets out on a personal mission, conqueror of another world. Do you accept the task? Whether. Oh. A personal mission was triggered? Yagami Ryusuke had a surprised expression on his face. I didn't expect that he had been unable to trigger a personal mission after staying there for more than 2 months, but as soon as he came to this Hong Kong comprehensive world, it was successfully triggered. Is it so sudden? Moreover, there is something in the name of this task. Conqueror of another world? Could it be said that as long as the time travelers in their group go to other worlds, similar personal tasks can be triggered? But that's not right either. On the day Ryusuke Yagami returned to the ninja world to rest, this kind of mission was not triggered. Is it because he is already the invincible ruler in the ninja world? Or is it that this mission can only be triggered in the world associated with the Traveler chat group? The Naruto world is the territory of the Naruto chat group. So it can't be triggered? Ryusuke Yagami considered which possibility it would be. But after thinking about it, I found that it seemed pointless to think about this issue myself. Because there is no information for reference at all. Let's first look at the rewards for the mission. If the reward is to stretch the crotch, Ryusuke Yagami has no intention of taking on such a task. Even if the task may not be difficult for him. Conqueror of another world. Task type, personal task. Mission reward, 5,000 points. Because he has not accepted this mission yet, Ryusuke Yagami cannot see the requirements of the mission at all. This is also a feature of the Time Traveler chat group. You can only see the rewards, and then judge the difficulty of the task by yourself based on the reward points. A personal mission worth 5,000 points. According to the points reward standard for personal tasks, it is definitely the highest level. Certainly. It is the highest level known so far, and it is also the highest level known to Ryusuke Yagami. Maybe someone in the group has triggered a personal mission with higher rewards, but has not said it. Naturally, others will not know. However, although the mission rewards are good, the difficulty will also increase accordingly. Fortunately, the world limit of Wumoport Comprehensive World is here. The reward standards for tasks are basically formed based on the world view. Therefore, even if it is a mission of the highest standard, it is only for a person of Ryusuke Yagami's strength in a world without magic ports. They are all simple tasks. No difficulty at all. I'm afraid, the biggest difficulty in this Conqueror of Another World mission is how to get to the other world. Ryusuke Yagami relied on sneaking across the country. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 371. But it's worth mentioning. Not everyone can do this. First of all, although the red envelope can contain living entities, it cannot be the group members themselves. In other words, members of the Time Traveler chat group cannot stuff themselves into red envelopes. But Ryusuke Yagami's wooden clone can do it. Why? Because the wooden clone is, to put it bluntly, just a ball of energy with the memory of Ryusuke Yagami. He does not have a soul and is not a real living body. It's like the wooden clone failed to trigger this task here before. It wasn't until Yagami Ryusuke's true body came over that it was triggered. So, I want to sneak across. You must first have similar abilities. Then have an ability like Anchor of Time and Space, which can lock a time and space coordinate. Follow, you still have to regain the ability to travel through time and space. Only by meeting these 3 conditions can such a seemingly simple stowaway be completed. In fact, these operations are enough to stump most people even if they are placed in the chat group of time travelers. And none of the old members would be stupid enough to accept red envelopes from other people. Lucien and Wang Ji are such newcomers. He seems shameless and cunning. But in fact it is very immature in some places. As for why no old member did this before Ryusuke Yagami? One is that there are no old members with such abilities that have emerged yet. The other is that the world level of the 2 newcomers is too low. Those old members who have this ability may look down upon this point reward. Certainly. Or maybe it's just because of the previous point. After all, no matter how few points you have, it is still an income. Such a cross-world personal mission is not difficult at all for those powerful and experienced time travelers. Something that can easily earn you points. Why not? Certainly. For other people in the group, if they want to be like Ryusuke Yagamai and directly travel through the body, it will be very difficult. After all, the world background for people with this ability must be terrible. Then they want to directly cross over. Either its own ability can block other factors from the outside world. Either his own strength has reached the top level in the world he is in. Otherwise, the risk is too great. Didn't you see, Yagamai Ryusuke also used a roundabout way to sneak over here. And there are very few people who can meet these two conditions. To be honest, Yagamai Ryusuke didn't even know if there was such a person in the group. Maybe there is, maybe not. After all, he didn't know most of the members in the group at all. Those people had not spoken to each other since he joined the group. And the vast majority of them hide their own strength. I have no idea how strong these people are. But no matter what, Ryusuke Yagamai really took advantage this time. Originally, he just wanted to give it a try and see the different scenery in other worlds. The result? I didn't expect such an unexpected surprise. It's a little surprise, right? Chat group, accept this task. Ryusuke Yagamai did not hesitate immediately and directly chose to accept this task. The task of 5,000 points, plus it is not difficult, is naturally impossible to refuse. Ding. Group member Ryusuke Yagamai 6901 has taken on the personal mission Conqueror of Another World. As this mission was taken over by Ryusuke Yagamai, some information about the mission also appeared in Ryusuke Yagamai's mind. The mission Conqueror of Another World is to let Ryusuke Yagamai conquer the 4 major gangs of Hong Kong in this world. These 4 major gangs are Hong Seeing Society, Dong Seeing Club, and Winning Streak. Number Helper. There is no distinction between the 4 gangs. As long as you complete the task of conquering the 4 gangs, you will get a reward of 5,000 points. As for the method of conquest, it can be said to be very liberal. Regardless of whether Yagamai Ryusuke unites these 4 major gangs or destroys these 4 major gangs, this mission can be regarded as completed. Obviously, such a task is definitely quite difficult for the demon-free world of Hong Kong. If Wang Jiwei is allowed to complete it, I'm afraid that even if he risked his life, it would be difficult for him to fulfill the requirements of the mission. After all, the strength of the 4 major gangs is not simple no matter which one it is. Even the weakest Dong Seeing Club has tens of thousands of members, and there are also many talents within the club, including many figures like the 5 tigers of Dong Seeing. The leader of the club Luochuo is not a good man, he is an old fox. Very difficult to deal with. Of course, compared to the other 3 gangs, the difficulty level of Dong Seeing Club is already the lowest. Others, such as Hong Seeing Society, not only have a lot of hall leaders, but also all of them are disobedient and rebellious characters. There are also original protagonists like Chen Hanan who inherit destiny and destiny. Even though Chen Hanan is no longer the only protagonist in this Hong Kong drama world, his luck is still much stronger than ordinary people. The benefits of having strong luck are obvious. Something like turning bad luck into good luck, meeting a noble person on the way, and so on. Don't be too normal. Assuming that others are allowed to deal with Hung Xingxi, leaving aside the others, Chen Hanan alone is already a huge trouble. After all, if you cut the weeds without eradicating the roots, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. Even if you destroy Hong Seeing Society, or use tricks to get into the leading position of Hong Seeing Society, as long as Chen Hanan is still alive, he will definitely come back and cause you all kinds of trouble. Maybe, you will eventually die in the hands of Zheng Jin's young and dangerous protagonist. Not to mention, there are also people like Chen Henan in the other two gangs. For example, Jimmy Tsai, who has a winning streak. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Among the number gang, there are characters like Lian Haolong and Wang Bao. Not a few either. Although these people are the villains of Zheng Jin, their luck is not as strong as that of the protagonist. But it is by no means easy to deal with. One or two is already super troublesome. Not to mention a whole bunch of them gathered together. Even though the number gang seems to be divided, if someone really wants to deal with the number gang, these people will definitely unite to deal with you. At that time, there will be no level of military force in the Demon Port comprehensive world. Even if you are Fen Yuxiu, you can't stop him. Fortunately, this time the person who took over the task was Ryusuke Yagamai. To the people of this world, the existence of Ryusuke Yagamai is a terrifying monster with no solution. Certainly. Just dealing with a bunch of gang members. Yagamai Ryusuke didn't intend to cause too much trouble. If the mission didn't allow the use of abilities like illusions and just take shortcuts, Ryusuke Yagamai didn't even need to use force. Just send a clone to go there, and then use the illusion to sweep over. Can't you complete this task in just a few minutes? Words now. It just takes a little effort. No difference. Would escape. Clone technique. Ryusuke Yagamai clapped his hands and separated 3 wooden clones. Including the original one, there are 4 wooden clones. The 4 of you, go and deal with Hongxian Club, Dongxian Club, Liansheng Club, and Number Gang respectively. How to do it specifically is up to you, but try not to make too much noise. I will give you 1 week to complete this matter, and I will come to check and accept the results a week later. Ryusuke Yagamai ordered to the 4 wooden clones. Simple things like this can naturally be left to the wooden clones. There is no need for Ryusuke Yagamai to do it himself. As for him, of course, take a good look back at the feeling of a modern city. It's hard to come to this world. How can you not have fun? Ryusuke Yagamai has already thought about how to arrange the next 7 days. Don't talk about anything else. Hong Kong comprehensive. Naturally, you need to take a look at some of the world's most famous scenes. I just don't know if the Hong Kong variety world has integrated those Hong Kong movies. The Wang Jiwei didn't mention this time in the group before. How many different Hong Kong film worlds does the Hong Kong variety world integrate? It's just that there are quite a lot. But most of what Wang Jiwei has been exposed to so far are the world views of some crime films. Similar to Hongxian and Liansheng. It is a fusion of crime movies. After Ryusuke Yagamai handed over the task to the 4 wooden clones, he immediately walked away. The 4 wooden clones were left standing there staring at each other, and the last 4 people assigned after reviewing the mission and deciding which gang to deal with, they also left here separately. At night in Xiangjiang, people were living in a state of drunkenness and wealth. This is a paradise for the rich and a hell for the poor. Ryusuke Yagamai is a newcomer who has just arrived. The first step, of course, is to make money. How to make money? Ryusuke Yagamai's method is also very simple, that is, find a rich person and ask him to give him money. It doesn't take much. A few million is enough for a night. Yagamai Ryusuke's expenses for the next week have been spent. Anyway, he won't stay in this world for a long time. However, what surprised Yagamai Ryusuke was that before he could find a rich man suitable to attack, he met a very familiar face. "Miss, don't go. Let's go have a drink with the guys." That is, what's the point of going home in the evening? Why don't you go have some fun with me? 3 gangsters who looked a little drunk were pestering a woman who had just gotten off work and wouldn't let her leave. The passers-by around them saw it and looked on with cold eyes. At most, they whispered a few curses behind their backs, but they didn't dare to say it seriously. Stand up and fight for women. After all, in this era, evil forces are rampant in Hong Kong. Ordinary people like them don't have the courage to offend these gangsters. If someone is not good, being beaten is considered a light thing. If you encounter ahead, the hot little gangster will give you a few more knives. That's really bad luck.